Well, the rain has finally stopped. The critters aren't exactly sure yet. Everything is still damp, but hopefully we'll dry up a bit this afternoon. So the donkeys are out. It's a cooler morning, thankfully. No complaints here. It's kind of the perfect temperature. The wind has laid down so much more, thank goodness. So, you know, we're really kind of entering, finally, springtime here on the farm. Things are blooming. I love coming back here. Now, I think if you've been around a while, you know that we let as much of the farm go wild as we possibly can. For the pollinators, for, the wildlife, snakes, turtles, frogs, toads, especially this time of the year, all the babies need cover. So we let everything go as wild as possible. So the donkey pasture that's fallow right now, is that the right word? That's probably not the right word because that's not really what it is. That's resting right now. Has a lot of things in it. It has dandelions and buttercups and weeds and yuck, right? But it's resting. The donkeys aren't on it. The goats aren't on it. It's doing its thing, right? And all these spring rains and some of the temperature is creating a lot of growth. I'm standing on top of the stone dust mountain here, but if we look at the growth rate on some of these grasses, it's tremendous. And what will happen, you can see how tall it is, right? It's good, probably 6 inches tall already. At least that patch. Not every patch across the pasture is. What we'll do after this pasture rests is we'll, of course, mow it. Right? We mow it on a regular basis, but mow it, aerate it, fertilize it, seed it, and then once it's had time to take and start to grow and, probably end of summer-ish, end of June, maybe August, we'll swap out. Just spotted a bluebird having a snack. Let's see if we can get him before he flies away. I don't know what he's picked up and put on top of that fence post, but he sure was working at it. And that's exactly the reason why we let these things happen, why we let things go natural. Because it does provide hunting grounds and habitat, right? Especially with all this rain, the birds are just loving the bug life right now. And the swallows and the swifts are swooping through this pasture. So this pasture is not as wild as we let some things go. And I'm going to turn around now to the back of the barn and you're going to see what I mean. This stuff is, knee high, sometimes a little bit higher already. And we let it go. Once in a blue moon throughout the summer, we'll come through here and mow it and kind of freshen it up, but we let it go. There's no animals living here. There's no animals that use this smaller area. It's really just the behind the barn area. And it makes the most sense for our pollinators. We've got lots of different, thistle and clover and, of course, buttercups and dandelions and weeds, lots of tall weeds. None of that matters to me, right? I'm not looking for a pristine lawn. I'm looking for a wildlife habitat. So when you look around at what we're doing, we've got grasses growing up, or weeds growing up through Stone Dust Mountain, which has become pretty small at this point because we continue to need and use it. I would say it's going to last us another year before we have to bring in more. But all of these natural, again, whatever you want to call them, weeds, pests, icky stuff, for us is nature providing. It's why we have bluebirds. It's why we have swifts and swallows. It's why we have honeybees and the robin just came through. It's why we have bumblebees. It's why we have all of the pollinators that come through without us having to do anything. I looked into beekeeping at some point. I really wanted to get into it actually, because I thought what a nice addition to the farm that would be. You know, it lives right into what we're doing. There's some swifts and swallows now swooping. Our bluebird is back. Let's see. He just came in again. Did he get anything? Doesn't look like he got anything. But the bird life, you know, aside from all of the woodlands that we maintain that they have to live in, we provide them these pastures. When the baby pasture is empty, we'll let that go wild. We let the pig pasture go wild while the pigs are in it, because the pigs are a low impact animal. They're not ripping those things out by the, hi Baba Socks. They're not ripping it out by the roots or anything. They're sort of nibbling. They're in between the plants, rooting for grubs and bugs and other fun stuff. So about the only things that don't go wild are our actual in-use pastures. Now, does that mean I have a lot of ticks? Yeah, it does. I brought in Guinea fowl to try and manage that. It did not work out very well for me, and nor did it work out very well for the guinea fowl, which is why our one solo guinea lives in with our flock now. I've been thinking about trying it again, but I don't have the heart to do it. I really want to, right? But apparently my mistake was I started with what I thought was a reasonable sized flock, and they did not, you know, the intent, let me rephrase. Let me tell you a little bit, back up just a hair. So the intent was for the guinea fowl to sort of free roam the farm, right? They're a much less domesticated bird. They are supposed to have much more instinct in terms of roosting in trees, protecting themselves from predators. They're actually a pretty, they're an extensively protective bird is the best way. You know, they alarm, they work as a flock to deter predators. All sorts of things, right? So my intent was to have a free-ranging flock on the property. And again, we have enough property that they would not, they do wander, but like it would take them a while to wander off the property. And there's so much here for them that there's not as much desire to wander off the property. But I didn't want to start with 100 birds, right? Like you don't do that. Or at least that's what I thought. You start with, I started with 7 birds, and I thought that would be plenty, right? And over the years, of course, they would ebb and flow with nature. They would lay eggs, have babies. Some, you know, the flock would expand a little bit. The flock would contract because of predation, you know, and natural causes. Those things happen. Well, unfortunately, the first day after growing them out and kind of establishing the farm as the home base and keeping them enclosed and, you know, raised with the rest of the flock, so they saw those birds as their home, their friends, their protector. And again, that was all intended to keep them closer to the property. We let them out, and the first night they did not survive, all but one. So that did not work out well for me. And my understanding after doing a lot of research is that's pretty much the case all the time. These guys have unfortunately been semi-domesticated. I mean, 10 years ago when I had them, they were still so wild, it was impossible to get them in a coop. Nowadays, they're pretty domesticated and they're coop animals, which defeats the purpose because guineas eat ticks like no tomorrow. They demolish ticks. When I had guineas on our farm 1.0, there wasn't a tick to be found. Not on my property, not on my neighbor's property. I mean, it was amazing. It was awesome. So thought, you know, nice free-ranging flock would take care of ticks and that would be fabulous, but didn't work out. And the numbers game you need for it to work out, right? Like I would have had to probably bring in 50. And at that point, you know, if we lost 7 or 8, okay, great. You still have 40. If the next night you lose another 7, right? Like you get the math, and it sucks. That's not the intent. That's not why I raise birds. So it's something I would love to do, but clearly not at this point in time. And I have to come up with a better plan if that's the case. I mean, I would almost have to free range them only during the day and then round them up. And that, my God, that would be not fun at all. And rounding them up, would be a nightmare. They're flighted, right? They do fly. They're not instinctive around like chickens. You can round up chickens pretty easy. Not these guys. So anyway, ticks are a problem, especially when we let all these things go wild. Let me zoom back out. But it's a trade-off. I'd rather deal with having ticks and doing, we do tick checks every day, twice a day usually. And, have that potential, and we just check for them and take care of them, then not allow our wild friends to have places to be, especially our pollinators at this time of the year. So that's my TED talk on why we let our pastures go wild where we can, and why we maintain our woods as natural as possible, right? These are not woods we use. Yes, I walk through them and I enjoy them and I love the serenity, but it's there for the wildlife. It's one of our swallows, I believe. I say are like I own them. They just happen to be here on the property and I love it. But yeah, we let everything we do is set up for as much balance as we can between nature and domestic animals. So that's about it for this morning on a Memorial Day morning. I don't know when you'll see this, sometime later this week when I get around to getting it uploaded and posted. It's so bad because I don't script anything, I don't edit anything, so it shouldn't be that hard. But I go back to work tomorrow and, things happen. Other things sometimes take priority. So I will get this up. And again, as always, I appreciate you guys being here and listening to me. And I will see you at the next one. Until next time, there's work to be done. Bye for now.